Hey friends, Kevin here with a pair of these eco-worthy batteries that have the smart management system, Bluetooth system built in addition to all of the other safety features. I've done several different battery systems upgrades in RVs. I've done a couple in camper vans where I've built the systems out from scratch. Because I have a lot of experience with these, eco-worthy did send these to me to test out. So I'm going to try to answer all of your questions. We're going to test the functionality of these to make sure they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. And most importantly, we're going to find out together how easy it is to use the app, this Bluetooth system on these, to be able to tell what these batteries are doing. Now, I love batteries and building a system for the bang for your buck, but one advantage that power stations have always had is having the cute little display that shows you everything that's going on, the watts in, the watts out. That's something that batteries didn't have until recently, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited to try these out. You see, this has a little display built right into the top. It shows you the battery capacity. All that's great, but we're going to get even more information out of this app. And the instruction manuals will tell you what to download. There are also QR codes for the app and QR codes for the batteries. So we can get these up and running hopefully fast. Let's do this. So I've downloaded the eco-worthy app, fired up Bluetooth. You can also scan the QR code. And we'll do the same thing with this battery. And our two batteries are up. So if I click on one of those, it's going to show me the battery level. These are the way these came to me out of the box. Each battery does come with post. So let's get a battery charger on these things. We have around 200 watts going into this. It tells us that the battery is charging. It tells us how long it would take to charge that battery based on what is going in right now, which is nice to know if you have solar panels hooked to it. So let's get a real test going with these batteries. I have an inverter hooked up. I only have this hooked up to one battery, so those of you who are new, this will make this a little bit simpler. But I want to show you what you're able to do with one of these. So here is our battery information, 92%. It's on standby mode because we aren't doing anything yet. We'll turn on that inverter. Now you can see the battery status is changed to discharging because it knows it has a load on it, even though it's a small load, basically enough to run that display. Now, let's pop this little heater on. We will have very detailed information on exactly what this is putting out. Now, I bet you're thinking, well, that wasn't much of a test because it was only about 400 watts. Let's get something on here that will really strain this thing. How about a vacuum cleaner? We know these things are power hungry. And this particular vacuum cleaner has an adjustment knob so we can take it right on up. So there we are, running around 290. Around 660. Running close to 900. So standard 12-volt automotive devices, marine devices, you're going to be able to use anything with this for a really long time. But if you get into trying to convert to AC power through an inverter, the nice thing is eco-worthy actually has all of the specs printed right on the back of this battery. So I'm going to make this easy for you as a guideline. With these eco-worthy batteries, with the discharge rate these are allowed to do, you're going to be good with a 1000 watt power inverter. A 1000 watt inverter should be your max. Anything up to 1000 watts is going to be absolutely fine to run off of these. Microwave is on. Now this is a complete piece of garbage inverter that has problems. It ran that for a few seconds. It was throwing the numbers out of whack, and here you can see the overcurrent protection did come on this eco-worthy battery. So one of many different protections built in, including low temperature protection, that's going to protect your investment and the investment of other things you may have running in your system. So in the past, dealing with batteries, you had very little information. What you got off your solar controller Didn't tell you a whole lot about what was going on with the rest of the system. You really had no way to see the current and amperage and all that information that you need to know what was going on, what your draw was, what was going into it. So what you would have to do was simply do without that information, or you would have to add a shunt to your wiring system. And if you went with an inexpensive shunt, it was wildly unreliable. If you went with a high quality shunt, you would spend as much for the shunt as you would for a battery. So it's really nice having this system built in with all of this information at your fingertips. So as you saw, these things charge fine, they power devices fine. When you have a bad part in your system, the protection kicks in exactly like it's supposed to till that problem is solved, cleared. That is the way I rate products. Do they work the way they say they're going to, and do they do that without causing me a lot of hassle? And these eco-worthy batteries, they've done both of those things. They've been flawless with me sitting here testing this. I have no problem at all using this in the next van build. And this app, while I personally am not crazy about apps overall, I will say that this thing works pretty flawlessly. It connects and reconnects without any issue. So for that, I'm happy with it. And with eco-worthy providing these in different sizes, different capacities, I don't believe any of us that are upgrading an RV or that are building a system in our camper van on our own are possibly going to be unhappy with these.